On today's episode of Phinside The NFL. Joint practice day 2 has officially wrapped up, and what a wild one it was. Multiple fights, 3 to be exact, injuries. Oh man, and the offense definitely looked out of sync, definitely struggled today. And we got a lot to talk about, a lot to go over. Do me the favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you are new, and as always, let's get into this one.
Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score! Field on the near side, that open, touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. He's got it for a touchdown again! Touchdown!
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan.
Let's go!
What is good, Finn Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one as day 2 of joint practice between the Miami Dolphins and Atlanta Falcons is officially in the books. And man, it was a wild one today. First thing I want to do though is shout out everyone, man. You know, over a dozen people either stopped me or came up to me. And you know, people were taking pictures, shaking my hand, just telling me how much they love the channel, appreciate what I do. I just want to shout everyone out that took the time, you know. Regular viewers here, Michelle came up to me. You know, John Carlos came up to me. You know, I was able to link with like Tony, Haitian Dolphin, Wally, Alex, French, Spliff. You know, I said hi. You know, over the last 2 days, I've said hi to Travis Wingfield and, you know, connected with him. Marcel Louis Jacques. Obviously, Alain Poupar, Omar Kelly, David Feronas, Alf from 3 Yards Per Carry. But man, I had literally, you know, as soon as I walked in, I had people stopping me to take a picture and stuff like that. And when I was, you know, shout out to Kevin and his wife, they came up to me today too. You know, Michelle cracked a joke because, you know, she found me in the stands, and then, you know, people just kept coming up and she says, "What are you, some kind of celebrity?" I said, "Minor celebrity at best." But I want to thank all of you for coming up. And, you know, it was awesome to meet all of you and chop it up with all of you today. Great to put faces to some of the usernames, whether you're on X or you're on YouTube. But I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate each and every one of you. I was kind of taken aback by it. You know what I mean? First, I walk in there and I had someone confuse me with Dudley. And then he's like, "Oh, no, yeah, I know who you are. I got the names mixed up." I said, "Yeah, Dudley's much taller than me." And then as soon as I finished that, someone stopped me and said, "Oh, hey, Reason, I love your content. Let's take a picture." So from the moment I got there to the moment I left, everyone was just showing mad love to me. So I just want to thank everyone over the last 2 days that have gone out of their way to either find me in the stands, see me when I was walking and stop me, to shake my hand, et cetera, take pictures. I just want to, you know, listen, I'm taken a little bit aback by it. Not used to it, but I do want to thank each and every one of you for making this trip a little bit more special than it originally was. So thank you to each and every one of you. Truly humbled, truly blessed to do what I do, be able to do what I do, and have the support that I have from each and every one of you. It means the absolute world to me. So I just want you to know all of that, man. So I thank each and every one of you. You know, John Florino says, "I was at practice and saw you. Was going to say hi, but you had constant people stopping by. Didn't want to interrupt you watching. You're very nice and cordial to everyone. Class act." Appreciate you, John. And listen, man, hey, there's always room, all right? Always room for you to come up and shout out to me. Don't ever feel like, you know, I'm too preoccupied, all right? I'll always take the time out and, meet with all of you, talk with all of you. Listen, I wouldn't be where I am and do what I do if it wasn't for you. So because of that, I am a man of the people. So I appreciate all of you. Already over 150 of you in the room. I just want to let you know I'm just putting out early feelers. Miller's Ale House in Miami Lakes. Shout out to Evan. He came up to me today too. He manages Miller's Ale House. And hey, we might have a little bit of a get together tonight around 7 o'clock at Miller's Ale House in Miami Lakes. If anyone is interested, just email me, Phinside The NFL at gmail.com. If we get, a handful of you at least, then maybe we'll make it happen and we'll all meet up there tonight. I know I've told a couple people already about it. So if you are interested in it, just hit me up, Phinside The NFL at gmail.com. And maybe we can set something up for tonight, my last night in Miami, and we can all meet up and, just chop it up, eat some food, and enjoy each other's company. So let me know. Hit me up. If I get enough of you interested, then we'll make it happen, all right? So appreciate each and every one of you for, just showing love today, man. It meant a lot to me, for sure. Training camp today. Let's talk about this. Aaron Brewer, I know people are going to try and just absolutely fearmonger you over it. I don't think it's that serious. Looks like, me and Wally were talking about it. Looks like he might have had something with like a laceration with his hand. He went off to the sideline. Then he went with the trainers, and then he went into the locker room. People were reporting he went to the Baptist Medical Facility, which is like right there. And he was back out there within like 10, 15 minutes. He was on the end zone. He was actually on the defensive side of the field, standing on his helmet when Rondale Moore got hurt. So, and had to get put into an air cast. So, I want to say this too today. There were 3 fights today. There was fights, scruffs, whatever you want to call them, brouhahas, whatever. So there was one on a punt return, just like near the beginning of practice. And then there was also 2 on the opposite side of the field. Now, I thought they'd have defense on the closer side to us today. They did not. The offense was on the closest field to me today. So both of the fights happened on, that defense is scrappy. Listen, the defense, they are scrappy right now. They have heeded Ramsey's words, and they aren't messing around. All right, I love the energy. I love what I'm seeing from the defense in terms of they're not going to get pushed around. They're not going to let you come in and punch him in the mouth without you taking a punch back in the jaw. And I really hope that energy translates over to the offense, because you look at the offense, and I'm just going to say it right now. When I look at the dogs on this team, I see, some dogs in the backfield from the quarterback to the running backs to the fullback. I see some dogs in the wide receiver core. I can't sit here and say without a shadow of a doubt that we have trenches full of dogs. I think we let our biggest dog walk, and, we didn't take him for a walk. We let him walk, and that's Robert Hunt. I think you can tell, right? Like yesterday when I wasn't happy with the push that they were getting in the run game, to me, it's you can feel Robert Hunt's presence already missing. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Now, offensive line today, Keon Smith was getting put on skates on a few reps. It wasn't that. I noticed a lot more penetration yesterday. I'll be the first one to tell you that. But by no means was I blown away by like an improvement by the offensive line today. If you want my honest opinion, you got to go out there and you got to get at least 2 more interior guys. I mean, that's just it. Like, to me, you have got to go get 2 more interior guys. Like, I'm going to tell you this. As soon as, Aaron Brewer went to the sideline, I would have been on the phone with Scott Quisenberry, and I would have been bringing him in. Honestly, I'm just keeping a $150 with you guys. that offensive line really worries me. I'm just going to, from what I've seen in 2 days, I'm worried. I truly am worried. I would go trade a 4th or a 5th for James Daniels, and I would sign Scott Quisenberry, and I would even go out and add another guard if I could. Now, I thought Patrick Paul was cleaner today. You didn't see flags getting thrown really from him. He was cleaner today. Kendall Lamb was at right tackle a little bit. They had Harley in at center. Rob Jones at left guard. Eichenberg. You know who's really struggled today? And he struggled the last 2 days? Jack Driscoll. I thought we were going to get something better with Jack Driscoll, and he has seriously struggled from what I've seen. Now, I get it. He's out of position at center, but even when he was at guard, I haven't been overly impressed with him. Now, I am banging the table, and I got to give my props. Yes, the offense was out of sync, but I'm going to tell you this. Malik Washington is a dog, ladies and gentlemen. Malik Washington is the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? I'm going to show you some clips of two of the 3 fights that broke out today. And in one of them, you see Skylar throwing a deep bomb up the left sideline. Right, Malik was flashing the hands today. I am in love with Malik Washington right now. Malik Washington, this kid's going to be good, man. This kid is going to be something at this NFL level. Trust me. All right? Listen, Tyreek wasn't really practicing today. He's in sweats. Water was on the sideline. So remember, the offense was out of sync. But we didn't have our top 3 weapons in the receiving core, right? OBJ wasn't obviously practicing. Tyreek wasn't practicing. Waddle wasn't practicing. Malik stepped up. Malik looked good, and River Craycraft looked good. All right? Like, there's your top 5. Tyreek, Waddle, OBJ, Malik, and River Craycraft. If you want a little bit of a piece of news, rumblings that I was hearing while I was there talking to certain people, if you got stock in Braxton Berrios making this team, sell. All right? If you have got legitimate stock in Berrios making this team, I think Malik's going to replace. I think Malik's the better slot option, just the better overall receiving option, and I think they're going to use him as a returner. I honestly, from what I understand and what I was told today before practice even started, talking to certain people, the outlook for Braxton Berrios making this team is bleaker than it's ever been. And you're right, Jason Stamp's right, eyeing that number 0, 110%. But Braxton Berrios, I'll tell you right now, if you got stock in that, I would sell is where I'd be at with that. All right. Malik, Braxton Berrios is number 6 at best. At best. All right. You got the top 3 in Odell, Tyreek, and Jalen. And then it's Malik and River Craycraft. And then it's like a massive gap to 6 and 7. It is a massive gap, people. All right? Like, from what I'm seeing, it's a massive gap. So, I know we signed a new receiver today, Mike Harley. He was out there today. He was rocking the number 4, just like Kader Kohu. So he was out there today. You know, he runs a 4.4. So, it's not even, a ball game. It's not even Berrios just being outplayed. He's not getting on. He's injured. He's not on the field. And Malik is making the most of every opportunity coming his way. He's literally making the most of every opportunity coming his way. Malik Washington, he stood out to me today. That's the one player I will hang my hat on and say, this kid's going to be good. This kid's going to be something at this next level. I'm going to tell you this right now. Now, as far as the backup quarterback battle, again, Mike White, man. Jonnu Smith had 2 touchdowns today. Jonnu Smith actually looked decent today. He looks like, he's got the top spot over Smythe. Now it all depends on what they want to do, right? In terms of like blocking, all that kind of jazz. But Jonnu Smith had like 2 touchdowns today, if I remember correctly. Jonnu looked decent for sure. They didn't get to 2-minute situational drill because at the end of practice because of the Rondale Moore injury, and that basically ended practice, right? Brewer had gone down, and then he went, and then the Rondale Moore injury happened, and they kind of called it. So I got out of there and went out and got some Jersey Mikes. First time having Jersey Mikes, absolutely fantastic. But listen, Mike White looks better than Skylar Thompson, and I think the conversation has to start to be had here. Skylar's been here for 3 years. We're going on to the 3rd season now, right? If you're not going to take over that quarterback 2 spot, what are we doing right now? I don't think it's I know Mike McDaniel spoke today and said it's neck and neck. From what I've seen in the joint practices, it's Mike White. Skylar had a couple questionable throws. I don't think he anticipates very well. I don't think he processes very well. And I just don't think, if you're not going to grasp that quarterback 2 spot and you've been here for 3 years, then what are we saying with our life? What are we saying with this? Your whole thing was you were supposed to be built up to be the backup. And I just don't see it happening. I really don't. I think Mike White is better. Now, I can't speak on the practices before the joint practices, but from what I've seen of the joint practices against another team, Mike White has looked better to me than Skylar Thompson. Amanda says, what happened to Tajay Washington? He is basically being redshirted this year, right? They put him on PUP, and from everything I gather, they're pretty much shutting him down for the year. And I think you'll see him really get involved next year when there's there's going to be another need next offseason at wide receiver, right? Who knows if OBJ is going to be back? And if he's not back, you really only have Tyreek, Waddle, Malik, and River Craycraft as your top 4. So I think Tajay Washington, that's where he'll find his niche, and that's where he'll stick. Kevin Williams says, and shout out to Kevin Williams, I met him and his lovely wife today. He said the middle of our O-line will make or break. I agree 110%. I mean, I've been saying it since we drafted Tua, right? We go as far as this offensive line takes us. And I can be even more specific this season. We go as far as this interior takes us. Because they're also in a position here. This is the other position they're in, right? Eichenberg's your backup center. But you're not going to have him do reps with the ones at right guard and then flip them back to center with the 2s. That's going to be too much work. I mean, that's how injuries happen. You don't want to overexert him. So, it's a sticky situation right now. You got to get another center in there. There's just no other, and you need a veteran. And you want my honest opinion? I think you need another veteran guard. If you're going, even with Aaron Brewer starting, I think you're going to need a veteran guard next to him. I really do. So listen, injuries aplenty today, fights, the scrapping. I'm telling you, I love the energy. I'm seeing from our defense. They heeded Jalen Ramsey's words, and they listened. Jalen Ramsey and Calais Campbell have changed the culture on that defense with Anthony Weaver. You can already feel it happening. And I love it. I absolutely love what I'm seeing from the defense in terms of energy, man. Everyone asking, how is Flanagan's? I got 2 people already asked me how Flanagan's was. And I had a bunch of people today who came up to me and asked me how Flanagan's was. Okay, so here's my Flanagan's assessment, all right? My Flanagan's assessment is this, all right? Those rib rolls and those garlic rolls, absolutely fire. Absolutely fire. Those ribs, I don't know what award they won with those ribs, but they were dry. They were overcooked. They were under sauce. I got the ribs and wing combo. The wings were a little bit better. So the appetizers were the star. The main courses were disappointment. I even had the waitress come up to me and say, hey, how was your meal, blah, blah, blah. And I told her exactly what I just told you guys. And she said to me, hey, okay, well, I'll give you a comp dessert on me. And I basically said, I'm good. I'll take the bill and get out of here. So there's that, all right? So, again, listen, speaking of food, there's over 300 of you in the room. If you guys want to have a meetup tonight, 7 o'clock, Miller's Ale House, if enough of you respond, email me, PhinsideTheNFL@gmail.com, or DM me on Twitter. If enough of you respond, we'll get something going at Miller's Ale House, because the manager of the Miami Lakes Miller's Ale House, he's an avid listener and watcher of the show, so he can set us up with a table and everything like that. All right? So if you guys are down, if you guys are in, let me know. We can do a little bit of a meetup tonight. All right? Deontay Moore said Ramsey and Calais Campbell played together in Jacksonville, right? If I remember correctly, yeah, they did. I think Calais was there, right, when Jalen was there? Pretty sure he was. Yeah, they played together for sure. And remember how good that Jacksonville defense was. I mean, freaking carried Blake Bortles to a Super Bowl. I mean, sorry, an AFC championship. I apologize. Right? Remember how good that linebacking core was? Hey? That linebacking core in Jacksonville at that time was absolutely fantastic as well, right? You had Posluszny. You had Telvin Smith, right? Like, that was a very good defense in Jacksonville. And hopefully, that energy can be brought here with Ramsey, Calais, and Anthony Weaver. And it sure feels like it. Again, multiple fights today. Multiple fights. Special teams got into a scrap, and the defense got into 2 scraps. So, absolutely, it was a wild one today, man. It was a wild one today, and I was hanging out with a bunch of the guys from that YouTube channel I recommended you guys go look up, the Blitz Pickup, and I was hanging out with some of the Inside Leverage guys today. So, have I heard anything on Win? No, I have not heard anything on Win. I'll try and find out. I'm going to try and find out for you guys and see if I can. I've been digging. So as soon as I figure something out on Win, I will let you know. Is our offense soft? No, I don't think our offense is soft. I will say this. I don't think we have enough dogs in the trenches. I think we got dogs everywhere else. I think we got dogs at tight end. Julian Hill was very good today, too. He's been good the last 2 days. Also, I'm going to say this. Someone show me what this Tanner Connor hype is all about. Please. Show me what this Tanner Connor hype is all about. Someone show me. Because I've been there the past 2 days, and I ain't seen Jack Bo Diddley to make me think Tanner Connor has a chance of leaping Julian Hill, Durham Smythe, or Jonnu Smith. Someone tell me what the hype is right now. I don't see it. I do not see the Tanner Connor hype. Now, I know you got people on X that are overhyping this right now or whatever. I don't see it. I do not see it at all. Anyways, but I think we got dogs in the tight end room. I think we got dogs in the wide receiver room. I think our starting quarterback has got a dog mentality this year. I think we got dogs in the running back room. I think our only dog on the offensive line is Teron Armstead. Honestly, I'm going to be completely keeping a $150 with you. I think the only real dog you can hang your hat on the offensive line is Teron Armstead. And then how long can you really depend on him for? How many games? But again, this overhype of Tanner Connor, please, someone show me anything from the last 2 days that, that is worth this hype. I haven't seen nothing. Jonnu Smith was making plays today. I've seen Julian Hill make plays. I've seen Smythe make plays. I ain't seen nothing from Tanner Connor. So don't buy into that Tanner Connor hype. Not yet, at least. Maybe she shows some hype, he lives up to the hype in the preseason games or the other joint practices coming up in Tampa and against Washington, I don't know. But I would not sit here and buy into that Tanner Conner hype no matter what someone tries to sell you on X or wherever the case may be is. I ain't seeing it. All right? Now, even I saw a good day I saw some nice plays from Fortson yesterday that stood out to me. I didn't see any of that from Tanner Conner. Just saying. So, I don't know. Someone let me know. Anyways, let's get into this. We got a lot to go over today. I appreciate all y'all for coming in. Already well over 300 of you in the room. So let's get into it. I got a couple clips I want to show. These were two of the fights, the second and the third fight from today, all right? It was getting scrappy. It was getting scrappy today. That is for damn sure. But before we get into the fights, let me show you guys this. The Miami Dolphins, they made a roster move today. They signed Mike Harley. They waived Jason Hines. They're out here waving offensive linemen like it don't matter. Mike Harley, obviously former U receiver. He's going to have to contribute on special teams for him to have a shot to make the 53. I believe he runs a 4.47. So he's got a little speed to his game. Now, over the last couple of years, he was with Cleveland, right? He signed with the Browns as an undrafted free agent. And then he went to the practice squad, right? Last season, this March, he signed with the DC Defenders for like 6 days. So, again, you're going to have to show something on special teams for us to really kind of take this seriously. Right now, all I see is, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, all I see is a camp body with Mike Harley. I'm not expecting very much from Mike Harley whatsoever. I see a camp body. So they need, Willie Snead has disappointed. Again, yesterday he had drops. Today, he was just non-existent almost today. He might climb higher on the depth chart than Willie Snead, but that ain't saying much. So they signed Mike Harley today. Shout out to Mike Harley. Hey, man, go put in that work. I'm going to tell you this right now. Here's the issue. You've got our top five, right? You got Tyreek. You've got Waddle. You've got OBJ. You got my boy Malik, who I told y'all before we signed OBJ and after we signed OBJ, I told y'all he's going to make an impact this season. And from what I've seen of these two joint practices, I will triple down on that now. I will quadruple down. I will quintuple it down on that take. Malik Washington is that dude right now, okay? Malik's got hands. He separates. It's everything I saw on film that I showed you on the prospect profile. The kid's going to be something, man. He is, I said it before, I'll say it again. He reminds me of shades of Steve Smith Jr. I think you get him acclimated to the slot. I think you get him off the boundary. You help him with release off motion. And then after a couple of seasons, as he gets more, as he gets his feet under him and he gets acclimated to the NFL game, I honestly think the way he separates, the way he moves in his hands, this Skylar Thompson, he was on the boundary when he made that catch today, and it was a deep bomb. It was like a 40-yard bomb, and Malik stretched out his hands, and because the ball was a little ahead of him, and Malik stretched out his hands and brought it in. It was an absolute thing of beauty. It really, really was, man. It really was. It honestly was. So let's get into it even further. I want to show you this. Absolutely hilarious. So this is the first fight from today, so you guys can see a little bit of it here. All right? All right, so watch it here. But you see the fight in the background? Getting scrappy, baby. Not joking around. We are getting scrappy out here. Love it. And the energy was real, too. The energy was real today. So shout out to all of you. I'll play it one more time. If you watch the motion, Julian Hill going to make this catch out of the backfield right here. in the flats, run up that right sideline, but the fight going on in the far field. Again, this is a perfect example. There's so much to watch at these joint practices. Shout out to all the reporters and the media members who are so quick with the Twitter fingers, man. I mean, it's another level, man. So that was the second scrap of the day. Here was the third and final scrap of the day. The first one happened on special teams on a punt return. And, okay, so watch this play. I want you to watch this. So you see the red jersey, Skylar Thompson? This is the throw to Malik. If you look at the first down marker, that's Malik. And Malik's starting to pull away. It doesn't show you the throw to Malik, but it was a deep bomb to Malik that he caught. So, and then the fight happens on the far field. But look at the ball's out. Look at Malik separating. You can see it in the last frame. And then another fight over there. I'm telling you, this defense is not joking around. See, the one time Chop has his hands on his hip, the first fight, Chop was way more involved than what was going on. But I want to bring this back because I want you to watch. Look at Malik separating the ball right? Let me bring this back. You guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so watch at the top, right by that first down marker. You see the Atlanta Falcons player and the Dolphins player. They're really stride and stride. But if you watch that closely before it zooms on the fight, you'll see Malik start to separate, and then he made the catch. He's in the air. And Malik made that catch. It was a huge play. I mean, huge play. I can't say enough good things about Malik Washington. The Dolphins got themselves a stud. The Dolphins, I mean, I don't know what else to say. The Dolphins legitimately got themselves a stud. And, it's a beautiful thing to watch him do what he's doing right now, man. Malik Washington you love to see rookies make the most of their opportunities, right? Like, that's what you want to see. Players go down or players are on maintenance days. You want to see them grab those opportunities by the horn and just go do their thing. And what can you say about Malik Washington? Well, I mean, what can you say about Malik Washington that hasn't already been said by me in this video already? Love. I'm telling y'all right now. Yeah, I'm going to get an H-N jersey, but that Malik Washington jersey ain't going to be very far behind. This kid is going to be good, man. This kid is going to be good. All right? Nothing more I can really say about Malik. We'll get into him a bit more later on here in the show, but man, the kid's a baller. The kid is a certified baller. So we'll get into him here a little bit more. But before we do, let's go over some news and notes from training camp. Obviously, I'll give my takes from what I saw compared to what the news and the notes tell you, all right? So let's get into it. As usual, let's start off with the Miami Herald, Barry Jackson, and Omar Kelly. Shout out to Omar. Met up with him yesterday. Great dude. So the second day of Dolphins-Falcons joint practice was marred by two major brawls. There was three, and two other dust-ups. Regrettably for the Dolphins, it was also marred by an injury to Dolphin center Aaron Brewer, who had his hand examined by trainers before leaving the field and heading towards the team's medical facility. Brewer then returned to the Baptist Health Center and watched some of the practice. This was not a good day for the Dolphins offense. Aside from a few nice plays in the passing game from Julian Hill, Jonnu Smith, and Malik Washington, Tua Tagovailoa on the offensive line were not particularly sharp. As for the brawls, the instigators could not be confirmed because they happened from the further point where the media is seated. During the first fight, Dolphins cornerback Jalen Ramsey grabbed a helmet and tossed it. Punches were thrown during the second fight, and players were tossed to the ground. Both fights involved the Falcons offense and the Dolphins defense. Both units were called over to the sideline for a 2-minute cooling off period. Later on, Falcons receiver Rondale Moore threw a ball at safety Elijah Campbell after catching a pass, and this was one of a couple minor dust-ups. So if we're going to count that as a dust-up, I mean, then that's what there's a special teams dust-up as well when the Miami Dolphins were returning punts from the Falcons. The Dolphins remained without receivers OBJ, Waddle, Barrios, Izakam, and Anthony Schwartz. Jordan Poyer, who missed six practices in a row. Javon Holland and edge player Mo Kamara, who missed. So that's a lot of big names that we didn't have today, especially offensively, right? Hollins seemed to injure himself Tuesday, but completed the practice and said afterward that he felt fine. So Miami was without both starting safeties on Wednesday, Holland and Poyer, who has a noticeable limp. Cornerback Cam Smith, who missed a week of practice before returning Monday, seemed to re-injure himself Tuesday and was not spotted at practice on Wednesday. 3 veterans weren't working on Wednesday, but the team doesn't specify if it's because of injury or veteran rest. Taron Armstead, Calais Campbell, and Benito Jones. So, I mean, we had a lot of guys, a lot of meaningful bodies on offense and defense that were not out there today. So, sure, the offense was out of sync. Sure, the defense wasn't as good as yesterday. But when you look at the names that were missing, it kind of makes sense, right? Right tackle Austin Jackson and Kendall Fuller did not participate in some of 11-11s. Brewer Craycraft wore the orange jersey bestowed on the standout in the previous day's practice. Dolphins linebackers Cam Brown and Curtis Bolton were involved in a special team dust-up with the Falcons, with John Fitzpatrick among the involved Falcons. The Dolphins' red zone drills had mixed results. Tagovailoa had a 7-yard completion to River Craycraft to start drills, but the drive then stalled, with the Falcons swarming Tagovailoa on one pass rush. I will say there was one play, too, where Tua stepped up, and I believe it was River Craycraft found, and Tua, again, is looking very nimble in the pocket. Very nimble. He's moving up. He's making throws. He's climbing the pocket. Tua looks like, he's making throws on the run. Tua looks like he's added another dimension to his game for sure this offseason. He looks very, very nimble on his feet. The offensive line, Jonnu Smith caught a 5-yard touchdown from Tagovailoa. The Falcons then forced another Tagovailoa incompletion with a heavy pass rush led by David Onyemata. The offensive line struggled at times without Armstead and Isaiah Wynn. Keelan Smith and Kendall Lamb got a lot of work on Wednesday. Keelan Smith was struggling bad at times. He's getting put on skates. Skylar Thompson then got red zone reps and rolled out for a touchdown throw to FAU rookie Jaquan Burton. Rookie running back Jalen Wright then had a 7-yard gain. Chris Brooks ran for a 7-yard touchdown behind good blocks from Lester Cotton and Ryan Hayes. Soon after, Durham Smythe then dropped an easy touchdown catch from White. Here's what happened on Atlanta's red zone. Deshaun Robinson was stopped by Cam Brown for a 3-yard gain. Kirk Cousins hit Drake London, beating Sierra Neal for a first down in red zone drills. Soon after, Tyler Algiers scored on a 5-yard touchdown run. Dolphins rookie cornerback Isaiah Johnson had a nice end zone breakup on a pass to Casey Washington. Johnson later had another pass breakup. The Syracuse rookie has had some good moments in recent days. Hunter Jake Bailey had 2 60-yard field goals. Tyreek Hill fielded a few punts. He had a fair catch on one and danced for at least 10 yards on another. In 11-11 drills, Tagovailoa hit a wide-open Julian Hill for what looked like a long touchdown, but Tagovailoa was off on 3 of his next 4 throws. He badly sailed a throw over the middle. I'm pretty sure it was River Craycraft again. Craycraft was wide open, and he sailed it right over his head. Ramsey drew a pass interference on a long pass to Darnell Mooney. Deshaun Robinson had a long outside run. Miami's edge setting was delinquent on that play. Jeff Wilson Jr. ran for 4 yards on a toss play. After Braylon Sanders dropped a pass, Skylar Thompson hit Malik Washington for 40 yards. Thompson has made some really nice downfield throws in recent days. Now, I want to put some context into this. This ball was out ahead of Washington, but Washington showed as sure of hands as you can possibly have, reached out and grabbed it. It was a fantastic job by Malik Washington. Absolutely fantastic. Mike then hit Malik Washington, who made a very good catch, 20 yards downfield. This was a big day for the Virginia rookie, who rebounded from a slow start to camp. Grayson Murphy pressured Michael Penix before he threw an incomplete pass. Deep later, Storm Duck broke up the Penix. I saw the Storm Duck break up on the Penix pass. Can I say this, though? You can say whatever you want about Penix. Everyone knows I love Penix going back to, last college season, early in the college season. I was hyping him up on Fin Too Deep in October, November, steady before people were trying to push the agenda of him replacing Tua. That's why I was like, no, you don't, because I knew Penix and I studied Penix much before these people were trying to push their agendas who don't know how to watch film. Penix got a rocket. Now that I've seen it live, Penix has got a rocket for an arm. I got to give him that. Achane was bottled up on a running play. Tight end Tony Fortson had a drop, at least his third in camp. Fortson had 5 receptions on Monday, but has otherwise had an unremarkable camp. Tagovailoa, after a poor 15-minute stretch, hit Jonnu Smith on a screen pass for about 8 yards, but then Tua was short on another throw. Caleb McGarry pushed the Dolphins rookie Chop Robinson to the ground on a downfield completion. So with the Chop Robinson, because I saw that one too, what happened there was Caleb McGarry just literally used Chop's speed against him. That's what he did, right? He played him well, used his speed against him, and forced him to the ground. It was just basically an energy transfer. That's all. Nick Needham limited the Falcons receiver to short gain. Needham has said he's playing both nickel cornerback and safety. Dolphins defensive tackle Isaiah Mack and linebacker Brown combined on a tackle for loss. Falcons cornerback Anthony Johnson jumped a route and prevented a tossing completion to Burton. Tagovailoa and Brewer spent more time working on quarterback center exchanges before Brewer left with his hand injury. Back in 11-11 drills, Tagovailoa overthrew Craycraft for what would have been a touchdown. Tagovailoa's accuracy was uncharacteristically even. That's the pass I was talking about. Later, a pass to Willie Snead Jr. was broken up, and Mike White had a short touchdown throw to Jonnu Smith. So, Jonnu Smith was actually quite impressive today. He had 2 touchdowns working with the backups. So, I like what I saw from Jonnu Smith. I thought he was quite good. Again, show me where the Tanner Connor hype is. Show me. I showed you the fight, and you saw Julian Hill run off the sideline. Julian Hill, I've seen him make plays. Hell, I've seen Jody Fortson make plays yesterday, not so much today. But I've seen all the other tight ends make plays except Tanner Connor. So I don't get the Tanner Connor hype whatsoever. The Brewer injury I take as minor. If you want my opinion, and I'm not a doctor, nor did I see his hand, it came off like it was like a laceration or something. That's what Brewer's hand injury came off like it might be a laceration. And I agree with you. A lot of these injuries seem like they're minor, except Rondale Moore's was pretty for the Falcons. I mean, they put his leg in like an air cast. So the Falcons had a bigger injury today than we did. But yeah, here's the thing though with Brewer, right? This is what, in OTAs he was injured. So this is what his second or third injury now we're at. We've done this song and dance with Taron Armstead and Isaiah Wynn. Get in the backups now. Bring in the help now. When this Brandon Ayuk trade is finalized and he goes to the Steelers, pick up that phone and you call James Daniels. Right? That's I would be picking up that phone and I would be calling the Steelers and trying to acquire James Daniels. That's just me, though. That's just me. Because I'm going to tell you right now, this interior of the offensive line, we go as far as it allows us to. I'm worried about it. I really am. Can't stress that enough. So here's what the Sun Sentinel said. Defense has a good day. Offense struggles in red zone. So day 2 of the Miami Dolphins Atlanta joint practice saw Atlanta bounce back strong defensively, especially in the red zone, where Miami's offense struggled. Numerous Dolphins players didn't practice Wednesday, but the overriding theme was the Falcons made some good adjustments on day 2, while the Dolphins didn't seem to adjust too well. Now, that's worrisome in the case of that's been one of the downfalls of our coaching staff, especially in the playoffs last year. You saw Steve Spagnuolo adjust the second time they saw us, right? And you didn't see Mike McDaniel adjust. And we all know what happened in the freezing cold weather in Kansas City, right? Unfortunately, Dolphins practice ended with a Falcons player being carted off the field with an apparent right in leg injury. So here's some more observations. River Craycraft wore the orange jersey as the player of the day from Tuesday. Craycraft valued for his blocking hands, knowledge of special teams plays. Yeah, he's a lock. Can I say this too? Shout out to this man and his playlist. I mean, he had halftime from Nas. He had some Jay-Z. I mean, River Craycraft had a banging playlist today. All right? I was nodding my head while I was watching practice. So shout out to Craycraft, man. He's played lights out, and he was lights out with the auxiliary today. Among those not seen early at practice, Berrios, Waddle, Schwartz, Izakama, Walker Jr., Tyndall, Jordan Poyer, Javon Holland, Cam Smith, Salvin Ahmed, Mo Kamara, Taron Armstead, Calais Campbell, and Benito Jones. Jordan Brooks returned after missing a couple of practices. The Dolphins have taken a measured approach with veteran linebacker Brooks Walker, and David Long Jr. Poyer was seen doing rehabilitation work in the end zone during a special teams segment early in practice. Poyer has missed 6 consecutive practices. Falcons tight end John Fitzpatrick got tangled with a Dolphins linebacker, either Bolton or Brown, during a punt return drill. It was no big deal, and that's where the scrap happened, and the scrap was over up in seconds. So that was the scrap right there that I was talking about. There's a special teams little brouhaha. That's the one I was talking about. A.J. Terrell thudded up Raheem Mostert for no gain on a run to the left. Tagovailoa connected with Craycraft over the middle with outside linebacker Lorenzo Carter applying pressure. Lorenzo Carter has been very impressive these 2 days for Atlanta. Tagovailoa got sacked by David Omanyetta. Tagovailoa to tight end Jonnu Smith for 5 yards to the 5. Mike White hit Devon Achane for a short gain in the red zone, 5 yards to the 5-yard line. Durham Smythe dropped a low pass from White in the end zone. The pass was a bullet, but Smythe could have made the catch and usually makes those catches. Isaiah Johnson had a pass breakup in the end zone. He had another later in the drill. Johnson has been low-key so far in camp. Johnson and Jonathan Harris had a stop near the line of scrimmage in the red zone drill. Harris made some standout plays Tuesday and earlier in the week. The Dolphins defense struggled on a couple of off-tackle runs early in the 11-11 session. Sean Hand got sealed off once, clearing a path for Bijan Robinson. Tyler Algier had an 8-yard touchdown run to the left that saw Atlanta seal the edge. T.R. Tart had an encroachment penalty, and the Dolphins have reduced their penalties this week. QBs and coaches from both teams were gathered on the far field and throwing into a net of about 25 yards away. Tagovailoa put one in, White hit 2 straight, missed a third, and Skylar Thompson overthrew the net, and Michael Penix missed. Onyemata tackled Mostert at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Onyemata was a major problem for the Dolphins on both days. Yeah, Onyemata and Lorenzo Carter were definitely 2 problems for the Dolphins offense on both days, for sure. Austin Jackson didn't play much in the first 11-11 and played sparingly in the second 11-11. Kendall Lamb took many of those snaps at right tackle. Tagovailoa found Achane on a short pass, but Alec Ingold was called for holding. You don't see Ingold penalized very often. Kirk Cousins completed a pass to Rondale Moore. Dolphins' Elijah Campbell shoved Moore, and Moore threw the ball at Campbell. It was a chippy day. Jason Mader and Brown had nice coverage on the screen pass. Mader continues to flash, and Brown flashes more often. So I think Cam Brown and Mader are 2 guys that could make it because of special teams. Screen pass to Smith. Dolphins had Malik Washington attempt to block Nate Landman. It didn't work well. Landman blew up Washington and Smith. Falcons, Aaron Abiketti blew up Ingold on a run for no gain. Appeared to be a missed block by the Dolphins' offensive line. Kyle Pitts had a juggling catch versus Kader Kohu. Pitts had a good battle Tuesday with Holland, who didn't practice Wednesday. And Tagovailoa threw incomplete toward Ingold while under pressure. The Falcons' pass rush produced at least a lot of feast or famine situations for the Dolphins' pass protection. Isaiah Mack and Brown had a nice tackle against Jace McLennan. Brown continues to do good things. Yeah, Cam Brown's making this team. Patrick Paul had a nice block against Brayley and I. On the play, Paul was called for holding against Anai, however. I think that was Patrick's only holding penalty, if I remember correctly, today. But Patrick Paul was actually pretty clean today for the most part. Aaron Brewer appeared to sustain a hand injury at one point, which led to Liam Eichenberg shifting to center. Cousins to Pitts, wide open over the middle for more than 20 yards, and it might have been a touchdown, depending on whether safeties Marcus May or Elijah Campbell would have made the tackle. Pitts has been a problem, and we remember he was a problem when we faced him in the Flores era, right, on that final drive. Tagovailoa incomplete for Willie Snead in the red zone, and I with the pass breakup. Dolphins were shabby in that red zone drill. Harrison had a sack later in 11-11. He's coming on strong. Jeff Wilson Jr. takes a hit and dropped pass from Tagovailoa in the red zone. Falcons were more aggressive in the red zone drill. Algier went over the middle for a 10-yard touchdown run. He had a good day. Moser stopped for no gain from a 6-yard line in the red zone. It was a tough sledding for the Dolphins. Duke Riley had a tackle for a loss versus Algier at the 5-yard line. Dolphins defense did well in the red zone drill. Tagovailoa slant to Moser for a possible touchdown from the 6-yard line. Dolphins' first-team offense struggled a bit in this red zone drill. Moser was stopped for no gain from the 4-yard line. Falcons seem to have learned from the previous red zone drill in which Finns got the best of them. Jalen Wright was stopped on a tackle for a loss. Wright to Smith for a touchdown. Only issue was Smith and Washington were right next to each other, indicating the issue with routes, but still a touchdown. Stock up, Malik Washington. The rookie had some nice plays, taking advantage of an absence by wide receivers Waddle and Barrio. Stock down, Dolphins pass protection. This is becoming a theme. Atlanta seemed to confuse the Dolphins for the second consecutive day. That's not good. Worse, Brewer appeared to sustain a hand injury. So if you want me to be specific here, they were having the both days I've been there, that Dolphins offense has had serious issues with picking up the blitzes. That's where they've had issues with the blitz packages that have been thrown at them by the Atlanta Falcons. That has been a major issue for the offensive line. Major issue. Major issue. B-Show 58. Reason James Daniels worth it? Yes, sir. For what we have right now? Yes, sir. 110%. 110%. We got all this cap space. Listen, I get you want to roll over up out of it. I get it. But I'm just saying, yes, this offensive line needs help. Because already we're asking questions, can we depend on Wynn? Aaron Brewer's now dealt with multiple injuries going back to OTAs. And obviously, I think we would all be happy if we upgraded our right guard. But the interior is where I'm worried. Listen, Keon Smith was put on his heels today. Kendall Lamb was pretty good. I'm not worried about the tackles. I am worried about the interior offensive line. That's where my concern lies right now for the Miami Dolphins, is that interior offensive line. That's where I'm worried. All right. So let's get into it today. I want to get into this interview with Malik Washington. Shout out to the homie Omar Kelly for photobombing it. But let's get into this. He was asked about his dates today, and this is what.
No, I think Jalen Wright's funny. I think he's funny for saying that.
He sounds like a professional.
Hey, there weren't a lot of big plays on offense today, but I wrote it down. There were two, right? You were involved in two. One was a deep ball from Skylar, right? What happened on that play?
Man, I think that's just a one-on-one matchup. Skylar has some trust in me on that play. Let it all out there, and we got to finish those plays. Whenever we get those opportunities, we got to make sure we finish. So that's all that went place there.
And then shortly thereafter, there was kind of a deep out from Mike White, right? What happened on that play?
I kind of say the same thing. A little bit of trust in that quarterback room. We've worked it all summer. We worked it all offseason. Just getting on the same page with each other, seeing the cover, seeing the shell, and making plays.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I love this kid. And you could sit here and say I started the fan club, really, because before we got OBJ, I told all y'all how good this kid's gonna be. After we got OBJ, I said this is not stop what I think. This kid's gonna be an impact player. You listen to him talk. You listen to him. This is a guy who realizes he's got to make the most of the opportunities. This is a guy who realizes when plays come his way, he's got to make them. Listen, I can't say enough good things about Malik Washington. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. He's a stud. Reason if the Fins move Chop between inside and outside linebacker and coach Chop up, could Chop end up being a steal of the draft? Brother, I think he's going to be, I think you're going to see him as outside linebacker, and they're going to shift him inside to defensive end. I think that's what the play is. I don't think they move him into inside linebacker. I think they move him inside on the defensive line. That's what I think the move and the play is with him moving forward, because Chop's been winning when they've lined him up inside. When they've lined him up inside on the defensive line, he's been winning. Yeah, basically, and neither one is healthy, right? Right, Scotty? I mean, I don't know what else to say, So let's get further into Malik Washington. Yes. Coach AJ says, not going to lie, reason I've been using your takes to look like I know ball in front of my play. Hey, I make my takes so you guys can take them in, right? Think on them yourselves, go do your own research, and then come to your own conclusions, right? Listen, AJ, brother, there's people out here with podcasts that consistently steal my takes, but they won't give me the props. So shout out to you for being a real one, Coach AJ. Appreciate you, sir. All right? Thank you, my friend. And thank all of you for making me the #1 Dolphins live streamer, bro. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming through. So let's keep it all going on Malik. This is the Malik Washington show. I mean, there ain't no doubt about it, right? This is the Malik Washington show. So let's keep it rolling with a little bit more on Malik. And this is from Joe Shad and the Palm Beach Post. He says, here comes Malik Washington, Miami Dolphins rookie seizing the opportunity. Miami Dolphins rookie receiver Malik Washington caught a deep bomb from Skylar Thompson during Wednesday's training camp joint practice with the Falcons. Just a one-on-one matchup, Washington said. Skylar has some trust in me on that play. Let it all out there. We have to finish those plays. Whenever we get those opportunities, we have to make sure we finish. A short time later, Washington hauled in a long out route from Mike White. We've worked on it all summer. We've worked on it all offseason, just getting on the same page. Washington is listed as 5th on the Dolphins depth chart, but that can change quickly. On Wednesday, Tyreek Hill did very limited work. Jalen Waddle and Braxton Berrios were held out. This created a big opportunity for Washington, who posted back-to-back strong practices. I think you don't change anything, Washington said. I think you have to approach every single day like it's a big-time opportunity to come and prove yourself, and you've got to be ready to earn a job. Washington slipped to the 6th round because he's 5'8". Even Berrios, Waddle, and Hill are taller. I think me, Braxton, and Tyreek are probably the exact same size, Malik said with a smile. At Virginia, Washington was fast, slippery, and broke tackles. With the Dolphins, they're trying to learn the offense and adjust to NFL life. One of the more difficult things in the National Football League is that of a rookie NFL wide receiver, Coach Mike McDaniel said. The game is very different in terms of timings, particularly with us, and the details in which you do your jobs. I mean, huddling and all the motioning. What Malik has done really well is find how to be a professional very quickly. So he's operating as a pro in terms of how he's studying, his ownership of the playbook, and how reliable he is with his assignments for his teammates. And then there's learning tools each and every practice. What I'm really happy about with Malik is that he's getting better with those mistakes, and I'm expecting mistakes, but he improves mistakes, which is the key for rookies. Washington gave thanks to Barris and River Craycraft for helping him adjust to the league. He's just trying to get better every day. I think there's tons of nuances within this offense that you've got to be able to grasp, Washington said. Not only grasp the nuances in the offense, you've got to know the defense and how that plays a factor. You've got to know the timing. There's all different sorts of things within this offense that you've got to be keyed into. I think it's pretty hard. Miami's top receivers are Hill, Waddle, Barrios, OBJ, and Craycraft. If the Dolphins keep a 6th receiver, it's likely to be Washington, Eric Izakama, or Braylon Sanders. I would put Washington above Barrios right now, to be honest with you. That would seem to make Friday night's Dolphins versus Falcons preseason opener huge for Washington. But Washington isn't overhyping the moment. It's just another game, Washington said. I think it's one of those where you can't work it up to be something huge and big. You got to go out there and play your game. It's football. It's what I've been doing since I was 6 years old, man. So I got to go out there on Friday night, and I got to give it everything that I've got. Listen, how can you not love this kid? How can you not be rooting for Malik Washington? How? And I'm gonna tell you this: they might carry 6 because they don't like what they're seeing from the 7th options. Braylon Sanders hasn't been good. Anthony Schwartz hasn't been good. I mean, that might be a big issue, right? So, yeah, George, you better get down here for the Raiders game, brother. I want to see you. Hey, AJ, if you're around tonight, like I said earlier, if enough people hit me up, Phinside The NFL at gmail.com. We can do a get-together tonight at Miller's Ale House in Miami Lakes at 7 o'clock. The manager there, Evan, is a watcher of the program. He said, hey, get some people together. Just let me know, and I'll set a table aside for you guys. So if any of you are down, just email me, PhinsideTheNFL at gmail.com. I already had a couple of people say they're down. So if you guys want to have a small little get-together, let me know, all right? But, man, it's just a consummate professional. Just a consummate professional is Malik Washington, and I love it. I love it. So I want to play this clip from CBS. They sat down with Tyreek, and they talked about Tua. I want to show you what he says here. Pay attention. Because all the noodle arm, people call him a noodle arm, to a noodle arm, et cetera, this one's for you. All right?
When you mentioned Tua, it's been cool to watch him kind of change his style or body type each and every year just to kind of improve in different ways.
Right.
What improvements do you think Dolphin fans will notice or be able to see going into 2024?
Arm strength. That's the first thing I noticed. Like from last year to this year, when we first threw our first session in the offseason, the first thing I noticed was his arm strength. I was like, either you throwing further or I'm getting slower. So which one is it? And he was like, bro, oops, I'm throwing further. So definitely can see like improvements from him working with different people, him just really, holding himself accountable, wanting to get better for this team. And as a guy on the team, you can't ask for more than, one of your leaders on this team. So so excited, man, to be on this team with him and, some of the other guys that we got on this roster.
So there you go. You got Tyreek Hill flat out acknowledging he's noticing the work Tua's been putting in with 3D QB and everyone. Right? And I love it. Listen, again, Tua gets better every offseason, and he's coming off leading the league in passing yards, and he's getting better. And he's getting better. Think about that for a second. Tua Tagovailoa is coming off leading the NFL in passing yards. The year before that, leading the NFL in passer rating, and he's still getting better. He is the last person to get complacent. You can tell this money has added a chip onto the shoulder of Tua Tagovailoa. And I love it. He wants to show everyone I'm worth all this money that I'm being paid right now. Shout out to Tyreek, man. Absolutely love everything we're seeing right now. So, man, I'm excited for them in this season. Just protect the kid, man. This is now the biggest investment in Miami Dolphins history. You need to protect him at all costs. Period. No excuses. And for all of you wondering what's going on with Jordan Poyer, well, shout out to Omar for getting Rachel Bush a little worked up. All right. He tweeted out Jordan Poyer's missed 6 straight practices. Couldn't tell you last time I physically saw him. That's concerning. She responded right to him and said, it's his thumb, shaking my head. Not concerning at all. All-pro player going hard and showing that in practice. So, of course, that's bound to happen. Another thing, too, she tweeted out again to him, and she said, by the way, when he injured his thumb, he still continued to finish the practice, and he had an interception after he injured his thumb. So, Jordan Poyer, don't be concerned. He's good to go. His wife chiming in and letting what's crazy about this? Either she was tagged in that or they're searching Jordan Poyer's name. So I don't know, but she's probably tagged in or how to send her way. But 6 straight practices for Jordan Poyer, but his wife comes in and says there is nothing to be concerned about. He's good to go. It's just a thumb issue. He's going to be just fine. So, little bit of relief. Hopefully Holland's fine and good to go too. Friday I'll be live for the first game of the preseason. Going to be interesting. Going to be watching Malik. Going to be. I'm so excited for preseason football. What else can I say? I'm just super, super hyped. So I hope y'all will tune in and join me for that live reaction. It's going to be awesome. We'll be live reacting to every preseason game, right? And then, I'll have content dropping this weekend. Tomorrow, I'm traveling back to Canada, so there will be no Fin Too Deep tomorrow. You know what I mean? So, there's obviously no practice to recap as well. So tomorrow will be a day off from the content, and just for me to travel back and get situated, see my kids who I miss so much right now, see my wife who I miss so much right now, and just settle in and get situated. And we're back at it on Friday, baby. All right, we are back at it on Friday. Bet your bottom dollar. So, hey, Smash that like button. I want y'all to subscribe if you're new. Miami, you have been amazing to me. The people have been absolutely fantastic to me, from the hotel staff where I'm staying all the way to all the people that stop me for pictures, stop me to shake my hand and say they like the content, to the people I hung out and watched some of the practices with. There's so many of you to name, well over 24 of you. So I want to thank each and every one of you for helping making my experience and my trip that much better. I truly appreciate each and every one of you, and I appreciate and love each and every one of you who are tuning in. Over 350 of you. You continue to support me and hold me down. Love each and every one of you. So we got preseason game. It's coming back. It's back on Friday, baby. Football is officially back. I love each and every one of you. I will see all of y'all on Friday, unless there's some breaking news tomorrow that I'll cover when I land. But until then, fins up all day, every day, and see y'all in the next one.